The next lesson in Topic 6 is 6.3, Properties of Parallelograms. The definition of a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with two pair of parallel sides. Over on the right, as we sketch this shape, a game plan would be is to just draw any segment, maybe either left and right or top to bottom, like so. I'm just going to go left to right. And then what you want to do is kind of angle your side over here and then do a matching length directly across from it. And then connect the bottoms. Pretty quick, easy way to sketch that parallelogram. Now, using the definition, two pair of parallel sides. On the left side and the right side, I'm going to mark an arrow to prove on the picture that the lines are parallel. But because we have two paired, I'm going to do a double arrow at the top and a double arrow at the bottom. To look at the rest of the kind of components of a parallelogram, I'm going to zoom in on this picture. And then we're going to mark some more specific features. Now, other things that we know, opposite angles are congruent. What this means is the angle on the bottom left is going to be congruent to the angle on the top right. The angle on the bottom right is going to be congruent to the angle on the top left. So opposite angles are congruent. And opposite sides are congruent. Lots of things to mark on this picture. This means that the top side is congruent to the bottom side, and that left side is congruent to the right side. Now, like the other parallelograms we've drawn, like trapezoids for example, consecutive angles add up to 180. So this angle down here on the bottom left and this angle down here on the bottom right would equal 180. Last but not least, we have diagonals. So instead of drawing a whole nother picture like we did before, we're just going to put all this information on one. Both of the diagonals bisect. So make sure you know that this is different than a kite. They're both bisecting. That means if we draw in a diagonal from left to right, and then connect the other diagonal on the parallelogram, like so, this means that the left part is equal to the right part, and the top left part is equal to the bottom right part. Diagonals bisect each other. A lot of information about a parallelogram. Taking a look at a little bit more detail, if AD is parallel to CB, that means that bottom segment is parallel to the top segment, and AB is parallel to DC, the segment on the left is parallel to the segment on the right, we have a parallelogram. Down below, notice all the statements that are true. Angles A and B, whoops, I meant to do something totally different there. Hang on, sorry. I thought I was in highlighter mode, not marker mode. We'll get there. All right, there we go. Angles A and B add up to 180. B and C also add up to 180. So now any two consecutive angles are supplementary. Notice over on the right, C and D add up to 180. And then again, like we wrote up above, the two at the bottom would add up to 180. Another thing to note is that angles A and C are opposite angles. And remember up above, we wrote that they are equal to each other. Angle A and angle C. And then angles B and D are also equal to each other. So put a double arc on that one. So we know all those statements will be true. We can either subtract from 180 or maybe set things equal to each other to solve for a missing variable. Over here on the right, we're taking a look at segment measures. If the two lines are opposite sides are parallel, AD is parallel to CB again. So that means that bottom is parallel to the top. And then AB, the left side, is parallel to the right side. If we know those statements to be true, then AB is equal to CD. So that means we can put a dash on each side length. And I'm going to put that in a different color just so that it's easy to see. AD is equal to BC. We know that would be true. So to mark that, AD with a double dash on the bottom and then BC on the top. Now look at this in specific detail for the next part. Notice it says AX is congruent to XC. or CX. AX is congruent to CX. So as we mark that on our picture, I'm just trying to find a different color here. Oh, we're going to go with pink. Okay. AX is congruent to CX, so I'm just going to put a triple dash here on the left side and the right side. And then BX is congruent to DX. I'm just going to go one dash here and here, just to mark those because we're just running out of dashes or room to write them. And again, we'll be able to apply a lot of algebra within these different statements. Let's use the information up above to answer the following examples. Given parallelogram WXYZ, what is the length of YZ? If we know we have a parallelogram, by definition, opposite side lengths are equal to each other. If WX is 3.27, then YZ is also 3.27. And the only work we need to show for that is putting a dash on each side length to apply the definition of parallelogram. Turn your packet over to the next page and we'll incorporate some algebra. Quadrilateral PQRS is a parallelogram. What is the value of x and what is the length of each side? Again, by definition, we know we have a parallelogram. This means the left side is equal to the right side and the top side is equal to the bottom side. If we want to try to solve for x, we need to set corresponding sides equal to each other. And it doesn't matter which pair you use. If I use the top and bottom, I'm going to simply set 7x minus 3 equal to 2x plus 12. We want to get all of our x terms on one side and then everything else on the other. Move the 2x over to the left, and then we'll actually move the 3 over to the right. Since it's negative 3, we're going to add. Each column, we have 7x minus 2x, which is 5x. The 3's cancel out. On the right, the 2x's cancel out, and 12 plus 3 is 15. Lastly, to get x by itself, just divide both sides by 5. We should get x equals 3. There's your answer for part A. Then it says, what is the length of each side of PQRS? Let's go ahead and zoom in on the picture. If x equals 3 and we want to find the length of each side, we really only have to calculate 2 of them. On that left-hand side, 4 times 3 is 12. And we know that if PQ equals 12, so does RS. At the top and the bottom, take either one and plug in 3. 2 times 3 plus 12. 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 plus 12 is 18. If it's 18 on the bottom, it must be 18 on the top. Therefore, to list out the answers, what is the length of each side, we just want to make sure that we're clear because we might see it on Savas where you have to label each particular segment. QP is 12, RS is 12, and then the other two, QR, would be 18, and SP is also 18. And there are your answers incorporating a little bit of algebra. Example 2 is incorporating a little bit of application. The 600-meter fence around City Park forms a parallelogram. The fence along Chaco Road is twice as long as the fence along Grover Lane. What is the length of the fence along Jonas Road? It's defined as a parallelogram, and if we know that Chaco Road is twice as long as Grover Lane, let's pick Grover Lane as our variable x. That means Chaco Road is 2 times that size. If Grover Lane is x, then Jonas Road would also be x, and if Chaco Road is 2x, then right below it, Village Drive is also 2x. So finding the length all the way around is perimeter. That's the total distance. Oops, and I almost spelled it wrong, but I caught myself. Perimeter. We know that we would add all the 4 side lengths together. X plus 2x plus x again plus another 2x. Now the total distance is 600 meters. We're simply going to set that equal to 600. If we combine all of the x's on the left-hand side, 1x plus 2x plus another x plus another 2x is 6x total. If we divide both sides by 6 to get x by itself, 6 goes into 600 exactly 100 times. Now, we're ultimately asked to find this question. What is the length of the fence along Jonas Road? So we really just want that one answer. And the nice thing is Jonas Road is x, so it's the same answer that we got. But we want to be specific and label it correctly, and the label is in meters. Therefore, our answer is 100 meters. Example 3, given parallelogram ABCD, what is the measure of angle B? Looking at the picture, we know we have a defined parallelogram, so this answer is going to be really easy. Angles B and D, or D and B, depending on how you mark them, are opposite angles, and in a parallelogram, they're equal to each other. Simple answer here. The measure of angle B is 114 degrees. But then if we're asked to go over to A and C, we have a couple of options. We think about the consecutive angles inside of a parallelogram. So A and D, for example, they add up to 180 degrees. So if we want to know the measure of angle A, all we need to do is add 114 to it and set it equal to 180. We do a lot of work with 180, so this shouldn't be a surprise that we're going to incorporate that today as well. Subtract 114 to get the measure of angle A by itself. And measure of angle A should equal 66 degrees. If A equals 66 degrees, then angle C is directly across, and that also equals 66 degrees. There are your two answers for A and C. Example 4 at the bottom. I know on your note packet it isn't color coordinated, so if you look at the picture, it says the green shape in the fabric design is a parallelogram. So what I'd like you to do is just take your pencil or whatever you're using to write with and kind of put a boundary around that parallelogram for me. And that way, as we label our parts, we know what shape we're looking at. So there's our parallelogram. It says the measure of angle 2 is twice the measure of angle 1. Well, we've seen this kind of setup already, so this should be pretty easy. What are the measures of the given angles 1, 2, and 3? So if we look at our picture, it says angle 2 is twice the measure of angle 1. What I'm going to do then for angle 1 is I'm going to mark that x. And if angle 1 is x, then the angle on the right side would also equal x. Angle 2 at the top is 2x, and angle 3 at the bottom would then have to be 2x. So we know that all four angles should add up to 360 degrees, or side by side, any two angles add up to 180. So if we take the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2, those are consecutive angles, they add up to 180 degrees. That would be x plus 2x. And combining like terms, we get 3x as total there. To get x by itself, let's move the 3 to the other side by dividing. 180 divided by 3 is 60. And that represents the measure of angle 1. The measure of angle 1 equals 60 degrees. Now remember, angle 2 is twice as big. So if we do 2 times 60, angle 2 is 120 degrees. We're just going to list that out. And then last but not least, put a comma in between them. If angle 2 is 120 degrees, then so is the measure of angle 3. Because opposite angles are congruent. Stick with me, everybody. We just have 2 examples left, so thank you for following along. We're asked in question 4 to use the parallelogram shown. It says, given parallelogram GHJK, what is the value of little letter A in that picture? Well, notice it's marking the angle H on the left at the top and angle G on the left at the bottom. They are consecutive angles, which means they add up to 180. That would allow us to write this equation, A plus 5 plus 8A minus 5, and we can set that equal to 180 degrees. Now, when we combine like terms, 8A plus A is 9A, and the two 5s would cancel out. Positive 5 minus 5 just cancels out. And then we get 180 still on that right-hand side. To figure out the value of A, we'll divide both sides by 9. 180 divided by 9 is 20. Done. There's part A. But then we get to go back and plug it in. It says, what are the measures of angles G, H, J, and K? Well, let's start with angle G by plugging in 20 for A. 8 times 20 minus 5. 8 times 20 is 160, minus 5 is 155 degrees. So the measure of angle G equals 155 degrees, and then so will the measure of angle J directly across from it. Like so. And then to get the other two angles, the measure of angle H, we'll do that one next. We're going to just do A plus 5. Well, that's easy enough. 20 plus 5 is in fact 25. That means the measure of angle H equals 25 and the measure of angle K. So there's incorporating a little bit of algebra. All right, we have one example left, and we're going to look at those bisector segments. Use parallelogram RSTU with SU equaling 35 and KT equaling 19. Let's first answer question A before we label the picture with those numbers. Segment SU and segment RT. Looking at the picture, SU is the diagonal on the left, and RT is the diagonal on the right. So top to bottom on each side. By definition, in a parallelogram, the two diagonals bisect each other. So that means SK and KU are going to be equivalent, and then RK and KT. They're going to be all equal to each other. Now, it says in the given information that SU equals 35. So I'm just going to go all the way from top left to bottom right and write 35. Like so. There we go. Now we're just asked to find SK. And SK is that smaller part of the segment. If it's bisected, all we need to do is take 35 and divide by 2. And that should give us 17.5. And that's the length of SK. We just cut it in half. For RT, well, let's take a look at what we know about the picture itself. It says that KT equals 19. So KT is literally just this much of the segment right here. That's 19. And we're asked to find RT. RT is the length of the whole thing. So instead of dividing by 2 to get the length of the entire diagonal, we're going to do the opposite. Kind of. I like that 19 to be a little bit closer together. We're going to multiply by 2. And 19 times 2 is 38. And that's it. RT equals 38. Now that you've completed your notes for lesson 6.3, I'd like you to log into Savas and take the lesson or the 6.3 lesson quiz.